Just come around half around there. Come a wee bit closer. What is she pointing about? Okay, thanks very much for your attendance today. We just have a few last words to say on behalf of the people who were executed in 1916. When the leaders of 1916 rising entered the GPO in Dublin, they done so in the full belief that Ireland strikes for a physical freedom that was necessary for the continued existence of nationhood. Without the Easter Rising, Ireland's desire for freedom and national sovereignty would have undoubtedly perished. To this end, we owe the men and women of 1916 a huge debt. To this end, this generation of Irish Republicans are honoured to commemorate their sacrifice in a meaningful way. In this the centenary year of 1916, it is only right that we consider the meaning of equality, happiness and freedom. A freedom that guarantees equal rights, equal opportunities and cherishes all the children of the nation equally. After 6 days of fighting and following the destruction of Dublin city centre by British artillery shelling, Patrick Pearse declared a cessation of hostilities to prevent any further loss of life. Taken to Richmond Barracks and before a military court, they were each charged that they did take part in an armed rebellion and in the waging of the war for the purposes of assisting the enemy. On the 3rd of May, Tom Clark, Thomas McDonough, Patrick Pearse faced the firing squad in Kilmainham Gaol. On the 4th of May, William Pearse, Joseph Plunkett, Edward Daly and Neil O'Hanrahan met the same fate. John McBride died by firing squad on the 5th of May. None asked for any quarter and each bravely faced their death. Their deeds are a testament to their desire for freedom. Their last words, immortal, now echo down this century.
Tom Clark made it known that anything less than a firing squad would be a failure of the rising. I and my fellow signatories believe we have struck the first successful blow for freedom. The next blow, which I have no doubt Ireland will strike, will win through. In this belief I die happy. Thomas MacDonagh told his court-martial, "In all my actions I had only one motive, love of country and the desire to make her a sovereign, independent state. The youth of Ireland will never fail to answer the call we pass on to them, and they will never fail to blaze forth to win their country's freedom. It would be seemly of me to go to my doom without expressing my sense of honour as one of this generation to die in the cause of Irish freedom." Patrick Pearse stated, "My hope is that the British government will spare the lives of the followers, but do not expect it will spare the lives of the leaders." In his last letter, hours before his death, he wrote, "My dearest mother, I have been hoping up to now that it would be possible to see you, but it does not seem possible. Goodbye, dear, dear mother. May God bless you for your great love for me and your great faith, and may he remember that all you have bravely suffered. I hope to see Papa in a little while. We shall be together again. I have no words to tell you all how my heart yearns for you all. I will call to you in my heart at the last moment. Your son, Pat." Pearse was unaware that his brother would face the same fate.
Well done, Niamh.
After his court-martial, Willie Pearse was brought to Kilmainham to visit Patrick when he was informed by the sentry on duty that he was too late. Willie Pearse did hear the volley of shots that sent his brother to eternity. Inseparable to the end, Willie Pearse would have wanted nothing less than to die as his brother did, a soldier of the Republic. And on the 4th of May, he, Michael O'Hanrahan, Edward Daly and Joseph Plunkett faced the British firing squad with great valour. Michael O'Hanrahan and Edward Daly had fought together in Jacob's factory. Their families were unsure of the fate awaiting the two men. Edward Daly's sisters had their worst fears confirmed when entering Kilmainham Gaol. A British soldier called out, "Relatives of Daly, prisoners to be shot at dawn." On leaving the prison, the Dalys had informed Michael O'Hanrahan's family of the likely fate awaiting Michael, as they were of the view that he was to be deported. Joseph Mary Plunkett was on the face of it, the most unlikely revolutionary of those executed, yet he played a very prominent part in planning the rising. His family home, Lockfield in Kimmage, was believed to be the storage place of the rifles from the Asgard, as well as the camp and training ground for the volunteers. In a letter to Grace Gifford on the 2nd of May,
After his arrest, Joseph Plunkett wrote, "I have no notion of what they intend to do with me, except rumours that I'm to be sent to England." On the back of the note was a short will that he made dated 23rd of April, bequeathing his possessions to Grace Gifford. Grace recounted her last visits and how she found Joe calm and not in the slightest bit afraid. That they were married in a brief ceremony, never being left alone to converse, and no mention of even an embrace. The second meeting took place shortly before his execution in the early hours of the morning, to say goodbye. The visit lasted only 10 minutes. The last of the four to be executed on the 4th of May, Joseph Mary Plunkett, was attended by the Capuchin fathers, who described him as having a distinguished tranquillity, happy to be dying for the honour of Ireland.
Well done.
John McBride was always an active advocate of the anti-conscription campaign in Ireland. Having assembled in Dublin on Easter Sunday, he returned to Dublin on Easter Monday. At the urging of Sean McDermott to meet his own brother, he was at St. Stephen's Green and came across a band of Irish volunteers. Knowing some of the members personally, he was told an Irish Republic was virtually proclaimed. He considered it his duty to join them and marched with them to the Jacob factory. Being appointed second in command at that garrison, he remained in that position until the surrender. He told his court-martial that he could have made good his escape, but so he desired and believed it would be a dishonourable thing to do, saying, I do not say with this idea of mitigating any penalty that may be imposed, but in order to make clear my position on the matter. He asked not to be blindfolded before the firing squad, but this was refused at the dawn of the 5th of May and he was executed.
Well done.
All right. Unfortunately, the 1916 Rising, bravery shown, and the guerrilla war that was to follow did not achieve the freedom that Irish Republicans had wanted. Obviously, the freedom that had been proclaimed in the 1916 proclamation, and further generations of Irish Republicans were forced to take up arms in relation to achieving full independence. And if we could just remember today, like 35 years ago, Bobby Sands was buried. He was the first of 10 hunger strikers to die. He died on May 5th, 1981, after 66 days on hunger strike. Obviously, his battle was a similar battle to what was fought in 1916. Obviously, it was for it was in relation to political status for Irish Republican prisoners, but more so, it was about basically taking to the fight to the British government, so they wouldn't be able to criminalise the Republican struggle. So if we could also remember today, obviously, the men and women that fought following 1916, but also Bobby Sands and his 9 comrades.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to be back here next week, folks, for the last of the other men that were executed in 1916. Same time, 1 o'clock to 1:30. Thank you. If we could have the flags back and posters back.